okay. Not sure if this is working or not yet, but at the same time, I have no idea how many people will actually tune in and watch. Looks like the stream is playing back on YouTube over here. So, all right. Well, this is my very first live stream. I am just trying it out. I've never live streamed before. I've played around with it a little bit, done some private streams where I just sit and mess around with different settings and trying to get my camera to work and my audio to work, and hopefully this isn't like crazy loud or anything. According to OBS, it looks like things are okay. Levels are good. We still have zero. Oh wait, that says I have 2 people watching. Hey Dakota, hello, how are you? Good evening. Well, actually I don't know what time it is where you live. It's evening here for me. It's about 9:15 p.m. Welcome to the stream. You're one of 2. I don't know if I'm the other one, maybe. But yeah, this I just wanted to try out doing a live stream, and I figured I'd just kind of hang out with whoever happens to show up, and you guys can ask me any questions that you might have. That seems to be one of the things I do on my channel a fair amount. You know, I get questions on some of my videos from people, and I try to help them out, try to answer their questions if I can. Don't always know everything, but oh, it's 12 o'clock at night for you, eh? I wonder how far behind the stream is behind live, because I can set a delay, but I have no delay on, but my stream quality is set so that I get like the highest quality video. You have to let me know. How does the... It says it's just... Dakota's saying it's just me and you, I think. It says I have 4 watching, so I don't know how accurate that is. But we don't have anybody else except for you and I in the chat. I'm like so not used to this. I want to like type back to you in the chat because I'm used to watching other people, you know, and like talking to the other people in the chat by chatting back with them. But yeah. So I guess if it's just you and me, Dakota, then what do you want to talk about? Do you have any questions or whatever? It's like you can ask me whatever. I'm game. Oh, hey, it's my Uncle Dave. You must have subscribed to me somewhere along the way. Well, cool. Thanks for coming in, Uncle Dave. Well, how's the stream quality like? Because I see what I can see on OBS, and I'm looking over because I got 2 monitors, obviously. The one that's just under the camera has OBS on it, and then my other monitor over here has say fire, and I'll tell you how far back we are. Okay, I'm saying fire right now. From what I can see on the YouTube stream, it looks like you guys might be, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds behind, or I don't know, or maybe less than that, maybe 10 or 15 or something. I mean, however long it takes to kind of like buffer up, I guess. But how's the audio? Is the audio okay? Am I too loud, or? I feel so weird. This is so weird. I've never done this before. Now I kind of know how some of those live streamers feel, I guess, a little bit. It's weird. Fire, okay. All right. That's good. Audio is excellent. And just remember, that's true. You were an audio engineer. Audio is really good. Okay, cool. Well, I'm using the Blue Yeti here, as you can see it up here. I got my pop filter on there, so hopefully anytime I make popping noises, then it doesn't freak out in the mic. Cool. I'm glad the audio sounds good. Is the video stream like okay, or I'm not sure where. Okay, it says drop frame 0. Yada yada yada. Does it look okay, or does it look choppy or anything? I'm gonna have to wait the extra 10-15 seconds for you guys to catch up with what I said. Okay, Dakota says it's really good. All right. Well, if you want to chat about anything, my bitrate, I don't even know exactly. I don't remember. I'll have to go into my settings in OBS and look at it. Let's see. Output. It's at 3500. My audio bit rate's at 160. And I'm using the H.264 encoder. Yeah, I was curious how my internet would handle this, because I have a Charter Spectrum internet, and I got like 60 down and like 5 or 6 up. But supposedly that's all going to get upgraded sometime in the near future to 100 down and 10 up, which I'll be happy about that whenever that happens. But I do have the advantage, that it's a static camera. I'm not like showing like gameplay or anything, so I think that helps. Plus, I don't really know a whole lot about streaming and like what bitrate is good and anything like that. I know the default was like 2500, I think, when I first set it up, and I was playing around and looking back at how it looked after after I stopped my short little test stream, and I felt like the video quality wasn't that fantastic, so I upped it to 3500, and I wasn't sure how my internet connection would handle it, but it's all good, I guess. 500 or 600, good grief, dude. That's awesome. I'd love to have that kind of speed, man. Make uploading videos go a whole lot faster. It's like when I upload like some of those long videos, like 20-30 minutes, they take 4 hours, 5 hours or something to upload on my connection. I do not have fiber in my neighborhood. There's like a new development that's going in like across the street from me. That's like right back that way. And they're going to have fiber over there, but I don't get it here. So that's fun, I guess, for me. Yeah, this is like going to be like nothing like any of my other videos, now that I think about it. I never do this. All my videos are like very planned out. This is not planned out at all. Well, Uncle Dave, how's things going in your neck of the woods? Now I'm going to have to wait 10 or 15 seconds until you can reply. It's not very fair, is it? It's like I can sit here and say stuff and you guys have to wait. Or maybe it's not fair the other way, where I like ask you guys something and then I have to sit and wait until the stream catches up. Oh, it's kind of fun, I guess. It's kind of fun doing this. Okay, here's a topic from Dakota. It says, where do you see yourself this year on YouTube? This year? I don't know. My goal, I guess, I want to try to get to where I'm making more videos than like 1 or 2 a month. I don't know how well I'll be able to do that, just because my main limiting factor is time, because I work full time obviously during the day, and then I'm married and have 2 kids, and so when I get home from work at the end of the day, and it's good for me to spend some time with them, so I wait until the kids go to bed, and then I'm able to come up and work on videos. But of course, you want to have some free time to, chill, just watch TV, watch a movie, play some games or something every once in a while. So, I don't always spend my nights and weekends working on videos. Sometimes I'm doing other things. And then now with spring coming around, there's yard work to do and stuff like that. So, you know, that all takes time away from making videos, and it makes it hard for me to put them out in a timely manner. But what's my job? Well, for work, I work construction. Well, I work for my dad's construction company, and I draw house plans is what I do. Right here in the same office that I make my YouTube videos in, I sit and draw house plans all day, every day. So what new products? Dave asks, my Uncle Dave, so what new products have I tried? Says we're doing great. Just out. My Uncle Dave's a Uber driver. Says he's been out Ubering, and he says it's like amateur radio. It's fun to see me. Yes, it is very much like amateur radio, isn't it? New products have I tried? Well, I guess I just finished making a video about my mouse, which is right here. You might have seen it on my channel. So I made a video about that. That's a new product I've tried. I really like it. It's super nice, and it should be, because it's like $70 or whatever. It cost $60, $70 for one. Another thing that's new that I've got is these headphones. Corsair Void Pro RGB. So there you go. You guys got the sneak peek. That's what my next video is going to be about. It's going to be a review on these guys. They're really nice, super comfortable. One of the things I don't like is you can like tip your head down and they start to fall off like this. Yeah. So now I look like Geordi LaForge from Star Trek: The Next Generation. But they're nice headphones otherwise. They're just, I don't know, they're just a little top heavy, I think. So they kind of fall over. Now, I'm watching myself back now do my Geordi LaForge here. Yeah, it's nice. I like the wireless functionality of that headset. I had another wireless headset before, a Logitech one, and I liked it too. I don't know. I think I just like the wireless aspect of it, you know, where you don't have any wires hanging down. Because I had a wired pair for a really long time that I bought at Circuit City, back when Circuit City was still like a store, like a physical location like Best Buy is. So that kind of tells you how long ago I had those. And I think I still have those, but they're kind of at end of life now. They don't work so great anymore. But yeah. Captain, we have a disturbance in our flight path. What's happening? Something bad happening? Is we dropping frames and stuff? OBS says we're okay. It says my CPU is at 31% utilization. Wow, Dakota, you go through headsets, man. 2-ish a year. I don't know. Maybe I'm just well, I don't know. What am I? What am I? If I like only buy a new one like once every like 5 years or something. That's kind of how I am with computers and stuff too, though. So I'll get a new computer once every 3 to 5 years, something like that. Yeah, I was just thinking back. I don't know if I totally answered your question of where do I see myself this year on YouTube. What I think I would like to do, depending on how these live streams go, I'd like to start doing one like once a week or something, which I think might be fun to just kind of sit down and just do this, like what we're doing right now. Maybe even see what it turns into, you know, because things always have a way of evolving, you know. You start off doing one thing, and then over time they kind of change a little bit and evolve until you're kind of, I don't know, until it goes wherever kind of works the best or whatever. So I think I'd like to do something like that, maybe. Just kind of keep doing this, see how it goes. Oh, Octavius, hello. Welcome. Thanks for coming to the stream. I don't I assume you're a subscriber, or maybe not. Maybe you just found a live stream of a talking head and thought you'd peek in and see how it's going. Hey, it says I have 5 watching now. That's kind of crazy. I was like wondering, what would happen if I like started this and have like 0 viewers the whole time, and then I would be sitting here trying to think of things to talk to myself about. That'd be a lot of fun, right? You sit and talk to yourself about whatever's coming into your head. Whoa, it says we have 6 watching now. Wow. Well, welcome, everyone that's watching, all 6 of you. I wonder if I'm one of the 6, though, because I have it up, the stream up on one of my monitors here so I can see the chat and stuff. Greetings from Greece. Wow. That is a long ways away, man, from where I am. What time is it right now in Greece? It's got to be at least like 8 hours, if not more, ahead of where I am. It is 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 19th of April, here where I'm at. I'm assuming you are in the future. So don't tell me what happens between now and where you are, because I want to be surprised. All right? Wow. Dakota has an idea. Sorry, I just read your chat there. So do tell. What is your idea, man? I am happy to listen. Could upload the live stream whole on YouTube. Well, that's pretty much what happens. What actually happens when after you like stream it live to YouTube, they automatically like archive it, basically. I mean, well, I don't know how you call it, archive it or whatever, where basically they have to process the video, I think, once the stream is over, and then it's there on your channel. Fabian, I hope I'm saying that right. Hello from Romania. Wow, Romania. That's crazy. 7:30 in the morning in Greece. That's amazing. So, oh, Dave says he's got a request. Is that a request for me? Or you say from Uber, he says. So I'll have to wait for Dave to ask his request. But while I'm waiting for that, I'll say hello to Fabian in Romania. That's amazing that I've got people from like the other side of the world watching this right now. That's like crazy to think about. So I'm just chilling here in Washington State in the United States. That's where I live. Oh, wow. Still looks like we're doing good. We've got no dropped frames so far, which that's good. Looks like audio levels, I'm assuming, are okay. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's ears are bleeding. Sorry, I keep checking that stuff, guys. And honestly, I don't know what else to talk about, so I look at what's going on. And Chase Waldron from Chicago. Greetings. So you're probably about, what, 2 hours ahead of Pacific time? I think you guys are, what is that, Central time? Is it Central time in Chicago, or is it Eastern there? Yeah, Dakota, yes, my first live stream is going much better than I expected. I mean, there's 4 viewers isn't exactly, like what other people get, but I shouldn't compare myself to those other guys because my channel is significantly smaller. For me, this is a huge success because there are people here watching, asking questions, and that's what I wanted. I just wanted to hang out and talk to you guys, answer some questions that you might have and whatnot. Central. It's 11:33 p.m. All right, Octavius has a question for us. He says, "Okay, here's a good question. How you think technology will evolve in like 15 years from now? Are we the Homo Neanderthals of our era?" Gosh, that is a good question. I really don't know. So, I would think, I mean, a lot of the kind of emerging technologies right now, I think will become more commonplace, definitely in the next 15 years. We'll see like with VR, I think that's going to probably be really big. I think in the next 15 years, we could definitely see headsets that are completely wireless, where you won't even have to hook them up to a PC. Like right now, like a Vive or an Oculus Rift, you've got to hook them up to like a pretty powerful PC to be able to play games on them. I think in the next 15 years, 15 years down the road, we'll easily have headsets that, will, who knows, maybe even your phone, will still clip into them, kind of like, what's the Samsung one? I don't even know what it's called. The Gear VR or whatever. And is it Google Daydream? Is that what it's called? The headset? Anyway, I think you'll have stuff like that that's going to be, way more powerful than the PCs we have today, so that you're going to have like ultra realistic looking graphics type of thing. I think that kind of stuff I think will become very commonplace. I've seen some cool stuff with augmented reality, like glasses, where people are, instead of like actually having a phone or whatever on them, it's like in the glasses, kind of projected onto the glasses, where they'll be dialing like on their hand. Like you'll see a keypad on your hand and you can like dial your phone number or whatever, navigate through apps that are on your phone or whatever, like on your hand, because it's all on kind of the heads up display type technology in those the augmented reality glasses and stuff. And I think that kind of stuff we'll see more of that. And yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to say, but that's kind of some of the stuff I think we're going to be seeing. Yeah, 4K. Dakota says 4K in 90% of households in the next 5 years. I don't know, it's possible because, I mean, most TVs now when you go to the store are all 5K or 4K, sorry. But I feel like it took a long time, like 10 years or whatever, for 1080p to like get adopted into the majority of households. And so I feel like the jump from standard def TV to 1080 was like really big. And I feel like the jump from 1080 to 4K, to me, it's big and noticeable. I see it. But like to a lot of people, like my wife in particular, she doesn't see, like the difference really. She's kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but she's totally happy with our 1080p TVs and doesn't want to spend money on upgrading to a 4K. So I feel like there's a lot of people that are, kind of share that same opinion as her, and that it might be kind of slow adoption rate. I think it's going to mostly be like when people's 1080p TVs wear out, then they go to buy a new one, and the only thing really available is 4K. And and I know there's 8K TVs in the works too, which I think is weird because not everybody has adopted 4K, and there's not even like a lot of 4K programming like through cable and satellite providers and stuff. And anyway, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's possible in the next 5 years, but I think it might be more like maybe another 10, maybe. Let's see, Octavius. Let's see here. Chris Waldron, he said, I think 4K will be in every house in 2 to 3 years. So he's kind of going, moving up the timeline on what Dakota thinks. So Octavius says, well, and things like store your DNA on a PC, maybe an average SSD will have 1 petabyte. Oh yeah. I think we'll see that kind of stuff in the next 15 years. You're going to see, I mean, I feel like PC technology is going to change a lot in the next 15 years. to where I think SSDs, will be like, will laugh like, oh man, do you remember how slow SSDs were? There's gonna be new technologies that are gonna come along that are gonna be so much better than what we have right now. That it won't. I don't even think it'll be SSDs. There'll be something else that's gonna be even better, because I know with Intel Optane, like with that 3D XPoint technology that they're using, that it sounds like, in my mind, I feel like it could replace RAM eventually, where you would have that instead of a hard drive or an SSD, and instead of RAM. So now everything is stored essentially on, I mean, if I'm going to relate it to modern day stuff, it's essentially your RAM is your hard drive, if that makes sense. So it's like no longer does things have to load from the hard drive to the RAM to be processed by the CPU. Everything is saved on the Optane memory, basically. And it's so it's already there in the RAM, and it just, boom, your CPU just starts crunching it, I see that being a real possibility in the next, 10, 15 years, definitely. Let's see. What else is people saying over here? Dakota says, that's true, but you have a big jump in people buying TVs and video games. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of people. There's like way more people playing video games now than like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, because, you guys probably don't know this, I'm 40 years old. I turned 40 this year. And when I was a kid, playing video games was like a nerdy thing to do. That's like what geeky kids did. Like the cool kids, all the athletes and stuff, they didn't play video games. That was like not cool. But now I think everybody plays video games. Let's see, David says, so I'm from the broadcasts Kira, Brian. So what is a 4K? Is that 4,000 lines resolution for an inch or whatever? I'm clueless on this new stuff. Okay, so my Uncle Dave here is asking what 4K is. Well, 4K is basically twice the pixel count of 1080. So on a screen, on a TV screen or a monitor or whatever, 1080 it's the vertical pixel height on a monitor or a TV. So there's 1920 pixels across by 1080 up and down. And so if you double that to 4K, what is that? I always have to do the math in my head because for whatever reason, I can't memorize it. So 1920, that's what, 3840? 3840 by 2160. So it's 3840 pixels wide by, 2160 tall. So 3840 by 2160. So if you think about it, if you had, so that's like that's really high pixel density is what it is. So you get a lot sharper image. Okay, Dakota, 4K is 4 times 1080p. Yep, that is correct. I know, I'm an old man. I'm 40. I know. What was my favorite console? What was your first my first console, and what's my favorite console? Oh gosh. My first console my parents, shoot, how old was I? I was like, some of my earliest memories have got to be from maybe like 6 years old or something like that. And we had an Atari 2600. I remember playing games like Pitfall and Pac-Man, and I forget some of the names of some of the other ones, but some of those classic arcade games on the Atari. I played a bunch of those as a kid. I think I want to say my favorite console of all time has to be the original NES, because the original NES is the one that like really, really got me excited about video games. I mean, I was already into video games, but the original NES, like the Super Mario Brothers, just that game was so popular at the time, and it just totally blew me away because it was very different than, all the other video games that had kind of come before it. And I think that's got to be my favorite. Uncle Dave says the broadcast era is where he's from. Let's see here. It says Octavius, video games was entertainment then, now is a way of life. Learning history, science. Yeah, very true. Very true. Video games have changed a lot since I was a kid. A ton. Oh, hey, we got a new viewer. It says New Rain Gaming. Welcome. Welcome, New Rain. Welcome to the stream. Let's see, Dakota. It says, I'm 14, almost 15, and it's the first time ever that all my classes play video game. Fortnite is blowing up. Oh, good grief. Fortnite is so stinking huge right now. I've actually been playing it since November, I think. I started playing it in November, and I really only get to play like once, maybe twice a week for just like a couple of hours at the most. Because, you know, any other time that I would be playing games is usually spent working on making videos. So I really suck at it, to say the least. But it's a lot of fun. It's challenging. You know, I'm slowly learning, but I feel like, you know, if I could invest like 3-4 hours a day, then that would be ideal. Let's see, Dave. Yeah, we used to think that 600 lines up and down was actually broadcast standard. Oh, wow. Wow, 600 up and down. Back in the old days, huh? Yeah, things have changed. Things have changed. Let's see, New Rain says my very first one was Intellivision. I don't know that the name sounds familiar, but I know nothing about Intellivision. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, that's my Uncle Dave. That's my Uncle Dave is my mom's brother, so he's old school. He's old school. See, Chase says my first and favorite console was the Xbox 360. LOL. Now I only play PC. Yeah, I don't play many consoles anymore. I mean, I still own a 360. I own a Wii still. My kids play the Wii a lot. We own an Xbox One and a PlayStation 3. But my PlayStation 3 is pretty much just a Blu-ray player now. Dakota says, my family had little money, so I have a lot of old consoles. GameCube, N64. My fave game was GoldenEye. GoldenEye was epic, dude. GoldenEye was amazing. Yeah, I was working at, I don't know, so you guys might be too young to know of a store called Software Etc. They eventually got bought out by Electronics Boutique, which is also known as EB Games, if you've heard of them. Yeah, when I was in high school, I worked at Software Etc. And let's see, the N64 came out in 1996, I think, because I remember buying one like day one at Software Etc. because I worked there, so I reserved myself one and got one. Played the crud out of Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye, all of those. Well, New Rain. Well, thank you, man. It says New Rain says, like your vids, been a viewer for about a year. Well, thank you, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. EB Games is pretty big in Canada, huh? I think GameStop is I think they've kind of taken over all the EB Games here, at least where I live. There's no EB Games or anything anymore. It's GameStop now. New Rain says the only console is a 1070. Would that be NVIDIA GTX before that too? Yeah, you're a step up on me, man. I'm still rocking a 970. Built my rig back in 2015. So far, my 970's treating me good. Spazowacky, welcome to the screen. To the screen, huh? Welcome to the stream, man. Or I guess I shouldn't assume that you're a man or a male. I shouldn't assume that. You might be a girl. I don't know. According to YouTube analytics, though, my female audience is very small. Well, bonjour. Back to you. I don't know. I probably slaughtered the pronunciation on that since I do not know French at all. Except for what I saw on the TV show Friends. There was the episode where Joey was trying to learn French from Phoebe, and it's pretty funny. And he said something like, she's trying to tell him, you know, because he was trying out for like an acting part in a some like TV show or a play or something like that, and he was supposed to know French, and she was trying to get him to say "Je m'appelle Claude," and he would say "blah blah 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 Claude," and he felt that he was actually speaking French. It was funny. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to make fun of French people. My uncle speaks French, and so does his wife. My Uncle Dave. Let's see. So Ryzen 2 is here. Also, NVIDIA 1180 is coming soon. We have a lot of new stuff. Yes, there is a lot of new stuff coming out. I watched some of the videos on YouTube today about the Ryzen 2 stuff, about the, what is it, the 2600X and 2700X. And, you know, to me, it was kind of what I expected, I guess. You know, I was expecting to see some improvement in performance over the stuff that came out last year. But you know, I was kind of hoping they'd get a little bit closer to NVIDIA, or I mean, not NVIDIA, sorry, Intel on stuff. But at the same time, I should have known that, because, you know, this is just kind of a refinement of the Zen architecture from last year, because this is what they're calling Zen Plus, I believe, and Zen 2 is not coming until next year, I think. So Dakota says, how long have I been watching you? Has to be way more than a year. Yeah, I think I've seen your comments around for a while, man. On the, I always appreciate the regular viewers that come in and drop a comment on a video. It's very helpful when you guys click like on a video, or when you leave a comment, because then that tells the YouTube algorithm that people are interested, or that the video is interesting or of value, I guess, and so then they'll suggest it to other people. Spazowacky says we're lucky. He's on an aging GTX 670. Yeah, I hear you, man. I spent much of my life gaming on whatever I could afford. I still do it, actually. I still game on whatever I can afford. But you know, now that I'm an old man, you know, I can afford stuff that's a little bit more expensive. But only once every like 3 to 5 years or so. New Rain says, I got my 1070 for $375 and now it's worth $890. You should hurry and sell it, man, because it seems like lately the if you want to get money out of it, I guess you don't have to sell it. Obviously, it's up to you. But yeah, I've seen some stuff where there's some graphics cards that are like actually coming back to like normal pricing again, which is amazing. It's kind of nice because it's been so stinking expensive for so long. Bonjour is the way we say it in Canada. Well, yeah. Well, like there's like, what is it, Quebec that speaks? That's like all French speaking, or part of it at least, something like that. See, Dakota, to be honest, I don't watch all your videos, but I like and comment on all. Hey, I understand, man. I understand if you don't watch them all the way through. That's okay. I get it. You know, it's like sometimes you, whatever I'm talking about might not be necessarily interesting to you. So it's all good, dude. No worries. Octavius says the oldest computer, the Antikythera mechanism. Thank me later. I'll have to Google that. I've never heard of that. I don't know anything about that. Let's see. New Rain Gaming says, OMG, did your shirt say Ford Pinto? Yes. My shirt is a Ford Pinto. I think my wife gave this one to me, or maybe my mom did. I can't remember. My mom gives me like weird random shirts like for Christmas and stuff. But, you know, it's one of those cars, you know, that has a really bad reputation. And, you know, it's kind of known as being kind of a crap car. And, you know, so, you know, there's those people that they think it's cool to wear stuff that's undesirable. Dakota says, I found you back on your popular GPU video. Yes, that is my most popular video by far. By far. My very long, completely unscripted video. I literally, like, for that one, I just kind of created like bullet points of what I wanted to talk about and tried to sit and talk about those things like just off the top of my head. And I feel like that was kind of a bad idea because I spent a lot of time, trying to think about what I wanted to say, kind of like I'm doing right now. And it just didn't go. I don't know. I mean, it turned out okay, I guess, but I get a ton of complaints on the comments on that, like people saying, "You talk so slow," and stuff like that. But oh well, whatever. Can't really go back and change the video now. I did make a new one and updated it, and but that one doesn't get nearly as many views as the old one. Let's see. New Rain Gaming says, yeah, my mom had about 6 of them. Talking about the Pinto. Yeah, they're not known for being the highest quality vehicle. So the Antikythera mechanism is an ancient Greek analog computer and orrery used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses for calendar and astrological purposes, decades in advance, approximately 70 to 60 BC. I wonder if I have seen something about that. Did they find it on like the bottom of the ocean somewhere? And they like x-rayed it or whatever, and then they found like all of these gears and junk inside, and they've kind of figured out what it was for and what it did. Is that I think I might have seen something on TV about that, because I'm a History Channel geek. I would like to watch History Channel and learn about stuff like that because it's fascinating. Quebec speaks all French, and we are known to be a little mean to English people. I have been past there 2 times, and Quebec is not a fun place if you're not near a big city. Really? They're not very nice to English-speaking people? That's not cool. You don't want to like develop like a bad reputation, It's like kind of like I feel like Americans have like a bad reputation in a lot of other countries, and I used to wonder why. And then I went to Mexico, like I don't know how many years ago, and it seems like all the Americans that go there on vacation, they go and get like super hammered and drunk and act like idiots and behave like total jerks. And then I get it. I get why people hate Americans, because they think we act like that all the time. And it's like, okay, I get it. I understand why you think Americans are jerks, because when we go to your country, we go and get hammered and act like jerks. So that is the thing. Octavia says, yes, indeed, they did. They find it in the bottom of the ocean. Yes. Okay, so I have heard of that. I haven't heard a whole lot about it and don't know a whole lot about it, but what little bit I learned about it was fascinating. $4.20 here, blaze it up. $4.20, huh? That's legal here in Washington State, where I live. It's legal now. We legalized it, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, something like that. After Colorado did it, we thought, hey, let's jump on that bandwagon. Personally, I don't do that, but if other people want to, I guess it's legal now, so they can do it if they want to. What do I think of an FX 8350 with a 1070 SC on a 970 Pro Gaming Aura motherboard? Well, number one, I have never used that motherboard before, so I don't know anything about it really. The FX 8350 is a decent processor. It's obviously it's older. It's an older architecture, and you watch a lot of other guys on YouTube and they'll dog on it, being like, oh, you should upgrade to Ryzen, blah, blah, blah. And I get what they're saying. I think where they're talking about, if you want to be kind of future proofed, whatever that word means, then, it's always a good idea, to get upgraded to some newer stuff. But at the same time, if you're gaming at 1080p, I feel like an 8350 is fine. I feel like because that's one thing I kind of want to make a video about sometime. Is just kind of, but I don't know how well it would do. But that hasn't stopped me from making videos in the past, even if it only gets a few views. But I kind of think it would be good to talk to like beginning PC gamers, guys that are interested in PC gaming, that want to know more about it, kind of like give them, I guess, a little bit of a reality check. Because, as PC gamers and PC enthusiasts, a lot of times it's like we want to have the best stuff. We love having the best stuff. It's like if we could all have, 8700Ks and 1080 Ti's and everything, we would be so stoked to do it. But at the same time, the way I've come to think about it, as I've gotten old, is I look at my monitor. It's like, what monitor am I playing on? Am I playing on, a 1080p 60 hertz monitor, which I am. My monitors are 1080p 60 hertz. So it really doesn't make sense for me to spend a whole crap ton of money to like get like a 1080 Ti or something like that, because what's going to happen is any of those frames that go beyond that 60 FPS or the 60 hertz that my monitor can display is pretty much just lost, because you'll get screen tearing and stuff like that, which looks terrible. If you've experienced screen tearing before, it's not good. So basically what you end up doing is turning on VSync in the game so that it doesn't tear. And so now you're running at 60 FPS, which 60 FPS is good, but a 1080 Ti at 1080p on most games can go way above and beyond that. So if you're gaming on a 1080p 60 hertz monitor, there's no reason to spend money on super expensive graphics cards like the 1070 and 1080. I feel like top where you need to be is probably like an RX 580 or a 1060, GTX 1060 is gonna probably be about where you want to max out, like for 1080p 60. Personally, that's my feelings. If you want to go like to higher to 1440p 4K, then you need to start looking at higher end cards like the 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti, stuff like that. New Rain Gaming says he is a beer drinker himself. Octavia says 8350 aka Bulldozer was OP back then, but yeah, high TDP, good for cold days. Yeah, they do a good job of warming your room up. My room's feeling a little warm right now. It's my rig is a i7 4790K, and then I've got a great big Cooler Master V8 GTS cooler on it, air cooler. Had that water cooler on it. If you've watched my videos, then you know. Had that Captain 240EX, and it leaked. So I went back to my air cooler, and I don't know if or when I'll go back to water and cooling ever again. I really like the way custom water cooled builds look. I think they look really awesome, and I would love to like build one, because that's one of the things I love to do. I love to do that kind of hands-on type of stuff, building computers, and I think it'd be super fun to build one. But like the maintenance behind it, and then the possibility of it leaking, because I assume some of you guys probably watch Bitwit, and maybe you follow him on Twitter. Recently, his custom water-cooled PC took a dump and leaked all over, and I don't think he last stuff I saw, he didn't know whether it was dead or not. So I'm sure we'll find out here eventually. Well, Clayton, I appreciate the sentiment. I don't think I can read your comment out loud. It's a little bit inappropriate, but I appreciate it. Dakota says, my grandpa, he went to the EU somewhere and got into a fight at the bar. After the fight, the men said, leave American, and when they found out he was Canadian, they got him a beer and laughed about it. That's funny. Canadians treat pretty nice around the world. Yeah, Canadians have that reputation of being like super nice people. They really do. I live close to Canada, if that counts. I'm close to BC. I'm about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, something like that. Octavia says he has a 7700K with a Noctua DH15. He's doing his job with Battlefield 1, representing my country and having fun. Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad you're having fun. Sounds like you got a nice rig there, man. 7700K, 1070. Sweet. Nice stuff. New Rain says I have mine liquid cooled with an H60 from Corsair, and it sits at about 38C to 45C. Yeah, it's that's good temps, man. It's nice. Nice and cool. Okay, I'm probably gonna butcher this name here. Shravan? Is that how did I say that correctly, or did I totally butcher it? And he says, nice to see you streaming. It's nice to see you here. Thanks for stopping in, checking it out. Dakota says he's really close to New York. I have never been to New York. I went through the Newark, New Jersey airport once when I was flying to... Where was I flying to? Florida, I think. So I went like from where I live to Seattle to Newark, and then Newark's just like right across the bay or whatever from New York City. So I got to look out the windows and see all the skyscrapers and the Statue of Liberty and stuff. And then we got on another plane and went to Florida. Dakota asks, should he buy an SSD? Well, it's up to you, man. From what I understand, I haven't checked it myself yet, but I hear that there's some good deals on SSDs going on right now, that the pricing right now is better than it has been in like a year or more, something like that. I've heard stories of, what did I hear? I was talking to my cousin earlier today, and he said he saw, it was like a Team Group SSD that was I think it was like a 120 gig. It was like $30, $30 or $35, which that's pretty cheap. And I did put a Team Group SSD into my $500 PC that I built. When did I build that? It's been a couple months ago. But yeah, and I mean, so far so good on that one. It's been good. Octavia says, today I heard a rumor that there is a way to install 8th gen Coffee Lake to a Z270. Any thoughts? Have I heard that? See, 'cause I personally don't have the funds to be able to play around with some of that stuff, like the 100 series boards, like the, what was it, Z170 was that Skylake, and then Z270 was what was after Skylake? Coffee Lake, right? No, I'm getting confused. Because I don't have enough money to like buy all that stuff, and so it's a little bit tougher for me to stay up on it. You know, where some of those guys like Jay's 2 Cents and Bitwit and Linus and those guys, they get all that stuff sent to them, so they get to play around with all of it, and I just pretty much get to see what they do with that kind of stuff. I don't know. I know that I have heard some stuff they were talking about. I'm trying to remember what it was, where they were getting, forget which generation of Intel stuff, they were getting it to work with the old stuff. I don't remember. Yeah, sorry, Octavius. I don't really know. Rhyme it with Evan. So is it Shravan? Is that how you say it? Am I saying it right? Or is that really bad still? Rhyme it with Evan. So Shrevan? Is that right? Shravan? Maybe I'll say, if it rhymes with Evan, then I'll say Shrevan, and then I'll wait for you to tell me if I said it right. And if that's not right, then I'll say it another way and find out if that's right. Let's see. 240 gigabyte SSDs are going for 45 to 60 in some sales. Pretty good for a basic boot drive plus fast times. Yeah, 240 gig for 45 to $60. That's super good. See, my Uncle Dave's back. He says, temperature is our enemy to our electronics for our radios that transmit to cell phones. I remember we air condition all our transmitting cell sites, even in the dead of winter. Yeah, my uncle, who is in chat right now, he used to work for Verizon, and so he knows a lot about all that kind of stuff. He was, I don't know exactly what he did for him, but I know he did work on some of their towers and stuff like that. Was very familiar with a lot of the tech that goes into those. I know that he several years back when LTE was first rolling out, I remember him and I sitting talking about it a little bit and stuff. Let's see, Octavius. Dakota's got a 6700. That's a good CPU, man. I've never personally used it, but from the specs and the performance I've seen of it online, not a bad CPU. Not bad at all. Let's see, Octavius. 8th gen has the same socket with 6th and 7th gen, but is incompatible. Yeah, that is pretty weird. You know, it's the same socket, but I think the stuff I remember hearing about it, like watching, Bitwit and Paul's Hardware, they do Awesome Hardware every week together. I don't know if you guys watch that or not. And then, you guys may watch guys like Jay's 2 Cents, and of course Linus Tech Tips. But I think I've heard stuff where Intel has said that's like it has to do with like power delivery and stuff, that like when they design the CPUs, not all the CPUs use all of the pins, because you got i3s, i5s, i7s and stuff all on the same socket, and so not all of the pins are being used by all the different CPUs. And however they configured some things for some of those new, they got the new 6-core CPUs and whatnot, that it makes it where it's not compatible with the older chipset, or the older chipsets. But it is pretty dumb. I totally get why it's frustrating to people, because it's like you want to be able to upgrade for a minimal cost. You don't want to have to go out and buy a brand new motherboard every time you go upgrade something. It's nice to be able to just swap in a new CPU, but at the same time, I don't know, that's what Intel decided to do. I guess we got AMD. They decided not to do that. All the new Ryzen chips that are coming out are all going to be backwards compatible with the old boards. So we got that. That's cool, I guess. Okay, so it's Shrevin. He has confirmed it, but I must still sound like really have like a really American accent on there when I say it. So because he's laughing. That's cool though. That's cool, man. It's all good. No worries. New Rain's laughing. The Gaming Catman. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Dakota says, so is the i7-6700 non-K Skylake? I really don't know what Skylake is. 6700 is a Skylake chip. Skylake is just like the, what do they call it? Like the code name. Like when they're developing their CPUs, they'll give a code name to that generation. And so Skylake was the 6th gen code name. And I'm trying to think, what was 7th gen? I can't even remember. I don't even know why I can't remember, because I totally should know. Oh, it was Kaby Lake. It was Kaby Lake. 7th gen was Kaby Lake. And now 8th gen is Coffee Lake. Ah, that's right. Octavia says, I don't watch much videos about computers. I prefer scientific videos and fill my head with knowledge. Well, kudos to you, man. Scientific videos are very cool. I went through a phase a couple months ago where I was watching a bunch of on YouTube. There's a channel called Space Time, where I was watching stuff like learning about physics, and a lot of that stuff was like woo, way over my head, man. I didn't get a lot of it, but it was super cool to learn about. I tried to learn. Yes, Shrevin and Octavius are telling me it's Kaby Lake. Yes, Kaby Lake with 7th gen. 8th gen is Coffee Lake right now. And then I think, what is coming up next? Like Ice Lake or something like that, I think is the next one. Well, the stream is approaching 1 hour. That's kind of what I was planning on doing, was just hanging out for about an hour and then cutting it off. So if you guys have any last questions you want to ask real quick, I mean, you can ask whatever you want about real quick, and I'll try and answer those questions. You know, you can ask personal questions. If it's something that I feel won't be appropriate to answer, then I won't. But if it's appropriate to answer it, I will. Ice Lake, Cannon Lake, something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right, Shrevin. Sounds about right. 6700 is still a very good chip, Dakota. It is a very good chip. It's my 4790K that I have right now. It's, you know, 4th gen, obviously, and when did it come out? Because I think it was going, when I built my rig in 2015, it was kind of dying off. I want to say it was probably around 2014-ish, somewhere in there is when mine came out. And it's still going. I feel like it's still going strong. It's still doing great for me. You know, I have no problems with it at all. 6700 is a good chip. Professor Michio Kaku. Yeah, I've seen him before. I've seen stuff about him. He's like a kind of a futurist and stuff. He's very into kind of predicting what the future is going to be like. He has some pretty interesting ideas about some stuff. Well, Octavius, you're welcome. It's pretty easy to answer the questions in chat when there's 6 people watching. But this has been fun though, guys. This has been cool. It's been cool to just sit and chat with you guys. It does feel a little bit weird because I do feel kind of like I'm talking to myself. But at the same time, since the chat's right there, it also doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself, if that makes sense at all. Shrevin says, do you think Intel will include better stock coolers after seeing what AMD's been doing with their Wraith stock coolers? I don't know. Maybe. It's possible, I guess. You know, I mean, I don't think they will unless they really feel pressure to do it. Because I think right now they recognize that a lot of people, you know, don't even use the stock coolers, especially when it comes like to i5s and i7s. You know, they know that a lot of people are going to go buy, especially, you know, enthusiasts are going to go out and buy aftermarket coolers for them. And then, you know, when you got, you know, what do you call them? Like all the builders like Dell and stuff, all the big companies, you know, that are pumping out, you know, hundreds of thousands of PCs a year or however many. You know, those guys, they're just kind of going with what the bare minimum, you know, trying to build the things as inexpensively as possible. So, I don't know. They could. Intel could redesign their stock coolers. New Rain says, nice stream. Well, thank you, dude. Thank you. Appreciate it. Rojo Casey says, just tuning in. Hello from Philadelphia. Well, hello to you and the Super Bowl champs of the world. Congratulations to the Eagles on their Super Bowl win. That was epic. I was rooting for them because I live in Washington State and am a Seahawks fan, but I'm still a little bit salty about that loss to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And it was terrible. And I was happy to see somebody else beat the Patriots. Made me happy. Thank you. Dakota says, really good job for your first stream. You did everything right, I think. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. It says Intel and AMD have teamed up. Yeah, they have. They have. I haven't seen anything like detailed about it yet, like kind of performance-wise and whatnot. But yeah, I think, what is it? Is it in notebooks, I think? Isn't that what they're doing? Like laptops? They're combining the Vega graphics. Rojo says, what are we talking about? We're talking about anything, man. This is like just a chill and hang out, ask me a question type of thing. But I was planning on signing off about 5 minutes ago, but people keep asking questions, so. See, Octavius, behind those comments are real humans who understand you, so no worries. Casey, we are just ending, but we're talking. Okay, so Dakota's helping answer questions in there. Thank you, Dakota. Appreciate it. Shrevin says, good stream. Glad I could tune in. Thanks for the interactions. Rojo, he's apparently an Eagles fan, I think. It looks like beer mugs clinking together. Clink. All right, guys. Well, if that's everything, I think I'll sign off for now. Thanks for tuning in. It's been fun. I'll probably do it again next week, probably right around the same time. Dakota says in Canada, all high schoolers are getting Chromebooks. Well, there you go. That's cool. New Rain says, I boycott the NFL because they don't stand for the national anthem. Just saying. Yeah, dude, I understand where you're coming from on that. That's, personally, I feel like I get that they're upset about, what they feel is like social injustice, but I just feel like, the way they're choosing to do it isn't the most appropriate way. Definitely not the most appropriate way to be doing it. I feel like they should be standing and showing respect for the national anthem of our country, because it's because of our country and because of people that have served our country in the military and whatnot, that have fought and died, that they now have the right to play a game for a living. And they, how do I want to say this exactly? Those people have paid the ultimate price so that those people have the freedom to do what they do now. And I feel like they should show respect for that. And so, yeah, I mean, I understand that they want to, do something about what they feel is a social injustice. I just feel like, doing it on the football field like that, that's not the appropriate place to do it. I agree with you there, man. Rojo says good night. Dakota says good night. Octavius, see you next week. Shrevin, good night. New Rain Gaming says have a good one and thank you for your time. All right. Dakota, go Canada. Night, guys. All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.